is red colored urine. This reddish colored urine was sudden in onset, rapidly increased in severity, present all over the day, and are present all over the face of micturition. Red color urine was not associated with frothy urine, fever, sore throat, joint pains, or rash over the face, abdomen or loin pain, or breathlessness. She had no history of any renal stones previously. With that history, at that time, she went to nephrologist at LIMS, and after having CT scan of abdomen, she was informed that she had a tumor in her left kidney and needs kidney removal. She then visited Indo-American Cancer Hospital and she underwent percutaneous biopsy of the left kidney. And after getting the report, she was told that she had renal cancer in early stage and need total left kidney removal, which was done within 3 days after biopsy. She does not remember biopsy report, and but the surgery went uneventful and she was started on chemotherapy. The drug names, only few names she would remember was etoposide, ifosfamide, cyclophosphamide, and dexamethasone. Other one more drug she was on, but she could not remember. And with this chemotherapy, which was started on January 2015, and the and she received 8 cycles of chemotherapy, and she suffered with multiple episodes of chemotherapy related side effects like severe hair loss, multiple episodes of fever, weakness, vomiting, severe anemia, and she also received one PRBC during the time when she was noted to have hemoglobin of 5 grams per DL. She completed her chemotherapy in May 2016, after which she was on monthly follow-up for 3 months, third monthly follow-up for 6 months, and then annually. She has due for follow-up in December 2019. However, she did not went for follow-up because of personal reasons and this COVID issues. She was also on proton pump inhibitors continuously over the last few 2 3 years whenever she had gastritis and vomitings, and she was also on antiemetics, Shelcal, vitamin D, and multiple antibiotics. The name she could not remember. Whenever she used to have the short febrile illness during chemotherapy, she was started on antibiotics for a period of 7 days and then stopped. Personal history: she was not hypertensive, diabetic, not suffering from asthma, seizure disorder, or she does not history of tuberculosis. Her menstrual history: she attained menarche at around 13 years of age. She had regular menstrual periods in the past. She got married in 2004 and delivered 2 children in 2005 and 2006. Both were booked cases, and she underwent normal vaginal institutional deliveries. She attended all regular antenatal checkups, and she does not have any symptoms of elevated blood pressure or elevated sugar levels during the time of pregnancy. Post pregnancy, she resumed her regular menstrual cycles, which were normal 4 by 27 days. However, after few months of starting chemotherapy, she had irregular periods and she finally stopped having menstrual cycles from May 2016. And she again got a menstrual bleeding recently after starting thyroxine. Family history: she was born out of non-consanguineous marriage. Her father is hypertensive, mother was normal, and she had 3 more siblings. She was in second in birth order, and she after marriage she delivered 2 children, but none of the family members was not screened for renal cancer or any thyroid disorder. She takes mixed diet and she doesn't have any bowel or bladder issues. Drug history: she is currently on levothyroxine, IV antibiotics, and Shelcal and vitamin D. So this is history, sir. Can I summarize or should I go to general examination?
Please summarize. Please summarize.
Summary: a 37-year-old female, known case of CKD secondary to renal cancer, status post and left radical nephrectomy, status post 8 cycles of adjuvant chemotherapy with multiple episodes of AK secondary to chemotherapy related side effects, severe anemia with past history of blood transfusion, currently presented with unexplained acute kidney injury on CKD with 1 year history of amenorrhea, anasarca, throat swelling, and de novo detected hypothyroidism.
Okay. So you can tell me the diagnosis now?
Sir, Aniket, can you just keep the diagnosis on the screen because we'll share the screen. We have formulated the diagnosis, sir. Instead of telling one by one, it will be updated in the screens. Sir?
Okay. So
So,
can
yes, sir. Diagnosis is AK on CKD, AK akin to non-oliguric AKI, multifactorial AKI. AKI was secondary to severe hypothyroidism and autoimmune thyroid disorder to be ruled out, sir, and complicated UTI, and last possibility secondary FSGS as an adaptive FSGS. CKD status post left radical nephrectomy, chronic interstitial nephritis, drug-induced renal injury, renal cell carcinoma with the background history of multiple episodes of AKI, status post 8 cycles of adjuvant chemotherapy, status post 1 PRBC, currently mild anemia, sir, nutritional as well as secondary to drug-induced bone marrow.
okay. So I believe it is a straightforward patient. The only thing you have missed probably in the history is this was a Ewing
Sir,
sarcoma of the kidney.
okay, sir.
Telling you, so she had a Ewing sarcoma of the kidney. It was
Okay,
not
sir.
an RCC. So, in case the examiner gives you that diagnosis, you will have to add in the diagnosis that this lady had a
Okay,
Ewing
sir.
sarcoma. So, first patient of Ewing sarcoma kidney that I
Okay,
am
sir.
seeing. So, anybody else has seen a Ewing sarcoma of the kidney?
We have, and the even in like textbooks, we have not seen like giving sarcoma as a
So,
classical.
sarcoma of the
That,
kidney is a known entity, but
yes, sir.
leiomyosarcoma or any of the
Yes, sir.
sarcomas. So, Ewing sarcoma, I have not seen. And I believe now, from whatever I have read, close to around 100 cases are reported across the world.
Okay, sir.
This is a Ewing sarcoma of one kidney. So, just very clear, Mahesh, when somebody has a nephrectomy, you have to get a little more details of why there was a nephrectomy. Present days, you cannot do nephrectomy for a CA of the kidney.
Okay, sir.
Because this is a graduate and intelligent lady, you will have to get some more history. One, was the
Okay, sir.
tumor in the pole or was it very close to the hilum? Even if the patient does
Okay.
not know, you have to tell the examiner that you have asked these questions. So there
Okay,
have
sir.
been some reason for the person to have a
Wow. Okay,
so
sir. When
most common lesion that you are going to see malignancy in the kidney is a RCC.
RC renal cell carcinoma.
So present day, if somebody presents with a RCC, we are not going to go ahead with the nephrectomy. We will
Yes,
be
sir. We will see the size initially, sir,
size,
and location metastasis, sir.
metastasis.
Metastasis.
What do you think? Let us say this patient had RCC. From your own history, what do you think will be the stage?
T2 stage, sir, because if the patient has to complete radical nephrectomy and
What I'm telling. So you did not give anything justifying the radical nephrectomy. Is what I'm trying to tell you.
okay, sir.
You did not give me any history which tells me why there was a radical nephrectomy done.
Sir, I asked.
Till I told you.
Okay, sir.
So what was the reason for radical nephrectomy in this patient?
If it is a renal cell carcinoma, the site with locally aggressive tumors, sir, then it is an indication for
whatever history that you have mentioned. What suggests
sir.
that this patient should have had a ring surgery?
Nephron sparing surgery will be done if the tumor size is less than 7 centimeters.
You're not listening to my question. In your history, what is the history that is suggesting that this lady will not get away just with a nephron sparing surgery, but will have a total
In
effect?
history, I would have asked for CTA was done.
What did you ask and tell me already? You already told me something.
Biopsy report one I have told,
It
sir.
has
And
nothing to do. You may not even biopsy.
and she was told that she after doing MRI abdomen now she has no problem related to uh, cancer, sir, involving tumor which should have been removed early because it to decrease this
Okay.
metastasis.
So I don't think you are. You told me this lady presented with hematuria.
Yes, sir, hematuria. It's a presenting feature
Of the kidney. Let us assume you didn't know it is Ewing sarcoma. It is a RCC.
RCC.
Present with hematuria.
Whenever there is
Okay, so that itself could be one indication that you have to tell the examiner clearly, first and foremost, what was the size of the tumor. You have to ask the patient. If
okay,
the
sir.
patient does not know, you tell patient the size of the tumor.
Okay, sir.
Two, you will have to tell whether it was located at a at the high level.
Okay,
The
sir.
third thing, estimate not
But,
forget that because today has a bearing on that history. So if she had a DPA, what was the GFR on the most of the people tell you?
I asked her for DTPA scan, sir, differential function. She said that the scan was done, but she does not remember the exact value of that left kidney and right kidney at
Okay.
that point.
So typically in a RCC, what do you think will be the difference between a malignant side and a non-malignant side?
Sir, based upon the total number of nephrons and increased GFR as a compensatory mechanism.
Okay, I'm a little confused with your answer. My question was very simple. If there is RCC on the right side, what happens to GFR on the right side?
Initially, it will be maintained, sir, but right on, if the tumor gets advances and involves the nephron significantly, the GFR slowly drops.
Please look up. So we are all traditional. And then subsequently underwent nephrectomy. You don't know what was in GFR.
Yes.
And then right now you have a
at that overall GFR nuisance, her serum creatinine was 0.9 at that time, sir, when she had the surgery.
Yes.
Based on that GFR.
Presently CKD, which is of a stage of what was the baseline you told me?
0.9 baseline, sir.
2014, but 1.3 in
December 2019.
December 2019. So
1.3.
The CKD stage 2 or so, or you have to calculate GFR and C, but acute on CKD. Now, if we accept your old history of nephrectomy, CKD, Presently, the AKI is secondary to 1 from whatever I could gather from your nephrotic presentation in the form of a anasarca or something?
Sir, no, sir. No, they will not present it with nephrotic range protein loss, secondary FSGS or eruptive FSGS. They may present it with very minimal protein loss and hypertension and hematuria sometimes. But
Is
there is
presenting
no.
as 3 grams, 4 grams also we have seen. So
Okay,
somebody
sir.
says generalized body swelling, I would still consider secondary FSGS in the background.
I told sir she did not remember protein loss, and even now current report also she said that doesn't have any protein loss in the urine. She was told that she had pustules in the urine and urine infection, and urine culture was taken. And the report the day when I was taking the case, it was gram-negative bacilli, but final report was pending, sir.
Okay. So now, as you already mentioned, sepsis, you mentioned hyper cause one autoimmune element with both hypothyroid.
Yes, sir. I tell yes, sir. Autoimmune thyroid disorder immediately
Thyroid
after
with a
severe
autoimmune. So
kidney. But sir, to keep this autoimmune, as some cases of autoimmune thyroid disorder may present as immune-mediated glomerulonephritis, but they will present with proteinuria and hematuria, active sediment, some kind of things, sir. At least proteinuria should be having.
anything which says action with autoimmune element which makes both the thyroid status and also
And
renal
yes,
state.
yes.
So what are the disorders which are kidney?
Kidney with hypothyroid, dyselectrolytemia is one possibility. Other disease, membranous nephropathy, IgA, and membranoproliferative glomerulonephritis are seen with hypothyroids. If autoimmune hyperthyroid or with hyperthyroidism, therapy with propylthiouracil or iodine 131, so it is kidneys related to thyroid and uh,
5 grams also have a hypothyroidism with a goiter. Any other diagnosis you can think of?
sir, even nephro.
No hypertension is the clue. So you mentioned nephropathy,
Yes,
IgA, membranous nephropathy.
yes, sir.
So there are two diseases
Uh,
present simultaneously.
Sir, okay,
Get
sir.
amyloidosis,
Infiltration on thyroid
thyroid
gland.
and amyloid. Both are positive. So let you mentioned see hyponatremia in
There is severe and which leads to fluid retention stage also, sir. There will be extra like what depletion with hyponatremia sometimes.
hypothyroidism is associated with
With
bleeding hyponatremia. Hyponatremia have significant tubule.
yes.
Other multiple reasons. These are the two main reasons.
But all the sodium channels will be impaired in hypothyroid, but the three main channels are involved in sodium transfer.
That occur in the kidney hypothyroidism supposed to be almost more than 11 or 12. So you should be
Okay,
aware of, but as far as AK is concerned, you gave one of the differential diagnosis.
sir. It decreases significantly the inotropic as well as um, this element of rising serum creatinine occurs in hypothyroid. Sir.
So again, renal factors and
Intrinsic factors.
you have mentioned intrinsic renal factors is decrease in renal blood flow.
Yeah. Hypothyroid has non-hemodynamic effect on RAS system, sir, through classic receptors, and this is the reason why the patients, if the patient has
Whenever there is AKI,
RAS
maintained at the
by
very high angiotensin.
yes, sir, yes, sir.
does not
Current years.
Worsening in the
Worsening, kidney.
when there is a significant hypothyroidism.
Percentage I could not remember. I
So nobody else can answer, and they're all muted.
No, sir. It will be shared in the groups.
Okay. So anybody who can tell me what is the cause, what is the percentage of decrease in GFR in hypothyroidism?
Sir, almost around 40 to 50%.
So you can get a significant drop. So you look at hyperthyroidism versus hypothyroidism. In
Okay.
hyperthyroidism, you can get a increase for whatever. So increase in GFR occurs to a maximum extent of 20 to 25%. Whereas in hypothyroidism, as the hypothyroidism gets more and more severe, you can only get both hypothyroidism and hypothyroidism can be associated with significant progression of
Yes, sir. The renal functional reserve will be lost frequently if we don't treat it, sir. If we keep the patient, if the patient remains in hypothyroid state for long, she may go. Suppose her creatinine may go up to 2 or something like that. And if we start treating, then it may decrease, but there will be some loss of function which remains persistent and progress to CKDs.
Okay. So the clear message is hypothyroidism can present as acute kidney injury
and
hypothyroidism can present with CKD. Hypothyroidism occurs in a CKD patient for some other reason. It can contribute to faster progression of CKD.
They will be maintained, sir. They will be maintained as CQ thyroid syndrome. The levels will be elevated, but clinically patient remains normal. Sir.
What levels are elevated?
T3 and T4, sir. TSH will be elevated. T3, T4 remains normal, sir.
So, you are saying you tell me exactly elevated, but treat it. So what is the main defect here?
Sir, in CKD,
So when you see a patient with
will be cut off, sir. More than that, we will see free T3.
now what? You CKD because she must have had an ongoing drop in GFR over a period of time. She also
Yes,
must
sir.
be having a hyperfiltration with the protein loss. The
Protein.
amount of TSH elevation in this lady could be physiological. In fact,
Okay, sir.
exact words used are, if you treat a actually when TSH when we checked was 753.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
It's very,
this is a very
very.
severe hypothyroidism. But
Okay,
all of you should be very clear. Any patient, when you see for the first time with elevated creatinine, please ask for a TSH also.
Okay, sir.
Because in at least in our settings, hypothyroidism is quite common. It can present as AKI, it can present as CKD, or it can present as a acute on CKD.
CKD. Okay.
Possible. But in this particular patient, it's better to say it as acute on CKD, multifactorial. CKD, you already know, single
Yes, sir.
kidney because of nephrectomy, hyperfiltration injury causing CKD.
And drug induced.
Drugs,
Sir.
then hypothyroidism.
Sir, your voice is not clear.
Oh, okay. Now, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, I want you to tell me two parameters like a renal function test in this patient, Mahesh, which will tell me whether this is a AKI secondary to hypothyroidism or something else.
Sir, I could not get the question. That AKI is secondary.
Patient has multifactorial AKI.
Sir.
You give me hypothyroidism as one of the reasons.
Yes, sir. Yes,
okay?
Sir.
So now I need to decide if it is hypothyroidism induced AKI, I just treat hypothyroidism and she should get better, at least predominantly better. Tell me some test which I can do on her, which will tell me this is a predominantly hypothyroidism induced AKI or other factors.
Sir, GFR estimation by DTPA because the renal plasma flow
You told me it will anyhow come down, no?
Sir?
You told me it will come down in hypothyroidism.
Yes, sir.
I'm asking for a test which will differentiate renal failure because of hypothyroidism and not other reasons. So what happens to serum creatinine? Serum creatinine increases.
Increases, sir. Yes, sir.
So is there any other test like that?
Cystatin C decreases opposite to serum
so
creatinine.
What happened?
If we do consequent.
So both are supposed to be renal function markers. Why does one increase like creatinine, whereas simultaneously cystatin C decreases?
So as GFR is decreases, creatinine is significantly being reabsorbed. Capsule. That's why they
differentiate when you do along with serum creatinine, whether it is hypothyroidism induced AKI or not is correct, but I don't think are clear on why cystatin C does not rise in hypothyroidism.
It raises the literature, and I read about it, sir. They told that we should not consider measuring GFR.
I agree. Okay. The other thing on the data about renal biomarkers in hypothyroidism?
No, sir. In specific to hypothyroid biomarker.
Okay. So one is cystatin C, whereas creatinine rises, but cystatin C does not rise.
Does not rise.
Where the other one is renal biomarkers like NGAL. They don't change at all. Though there is a renal failure.
Yes, that's a pre-renal kind of.
You see the mechanism of renal failure here. It is not the tubular injury.
Yes, sir.
So for a NGAL to raise, you have to have some amount of tubular injury.
Yes, sir. In specific to a biomarkers, almost all the biomarkers will be raised when there is significant tubular injury, sir. So then not only NGAL, KIM1 or TIM to IGF-BP,
There is no
everything will
data on
remains
people,
normal.
but there is data on NGAL. So
Okay,
there are
sir.
two tests that you can do. One is NGAL, other one is cystatin C, which
Okay,
will tell you clearly if renal failure may not or may be secondary to
Okay, sir.
hypothyroidism.
Okay,
That
sir.
will help you because
Huh?
why was this patient offered a biopsy?
Sir, one more possibility is we are thinking secondary FSGS is also one possibility. And of course, in 2 weeks they will return to normal stage as per literature. But she had resolving edema and everything, but the creatinine level persistent to be elevated, and she was on multiple drugs during the entire for the last 5 years. Drug-induced drug-induced chronic interstitial could be one possibility, or glomerular pathology also can be expected in these patients, sir. Because it's single kidney, compensatory hyperfiltration will also be there. And if
I do not accept chronic interstitial nephritis as a differential diagnosis in this patient.
okay,
Patient size is very good. Doctor was ready to put a needle. Don't make a diagnosis of chronic interstitial nephritis. Accepted everything else. Acute on CKD and different causes for acute, whatever you have given. I wanted to biopsy. One is after starting, there is no improvement. Though there is improvement in her volume status,
yes,
edema.
sir, yes, sir.
Only thing that didn't improve
Create, yes,
So
sir.
I don't know what extent the chronicity is contributing, and I don't want to miss a reversible acute element.
Element. Yes.
With all background that then gets it could be glomerular. So you look at the phenotype here because the patient has a lot of weight and swelling. It looks like a glomerular.
Glomerular.
There is. So I don't want to miss
Sir,
associated
sir,
membranous or any of the other.
yes, sir. But as you said, in order to think it as a glomerular, but immediately after starting anti-thyroid medication, she had um, exactly going back she doesn't there from 2 years, sir.
So when did her
In
stop?
2000
When did her menstruation stop?
in 2016 May, completely there was loss of menstrual cycle, sir. But what
So
she
now can
told,
you tell me when did her hypothyroidism start?
sir, she said that she was on chemotherapy, and the same complaint she told to treating oncologist. He said that these may be due to chemotherapy, which will improve over a period of time, but that continues to.
So let me ask in another way. When was the last TSH done on her before this?
No, she didn't remember no TSH values, sir. I asked it as a
So
leading question also.
clearly this lady has a hypothyroidism going on for a very, very long time. Okay.
But
So you
TSH
should
was
have
not.
asked.
Sir,
No,
I
we
asked
don't
it, sir.
know, but
I asked it, sir. I asked it particularly. Sir, I asked it
Mahesh, listen to
particularly.
me. You should
Sir, you
have
are
given
not
me
audible.
history. You should have given me history of cold intolerance,
Okay, sir.
constipation.
Okay, sir.
So there are so many other things that you can
Other.
ask.
Okay,
Change
sir.
in the voice.
Okay, sir.
So none of them are available in the history that you gave me. So
Okay.
obviously this lady has a hypothyroidism. To reach 753, it must be going on for a very, very long time. So the
Okay.
chronicity that you are talking of in the kidney could be partly because of the hypothyroidism which is not treated, because nobody suspected it.
Okay, sir.
So any of the drugs that she got could cause hypothyroidism. Just check on that.
I
Okay.
checked it, sir, but she was not remembering all the drugs. Yes, sir. Not.
So one is historically itself, you could have dated or tentatively told her hypothyroidism could be, and you assume that her amenorrhea is secondary to anti-malignancy drugs, but her
No,
anti-malignancy
sir.
drugs were
Both.
stopped in.
Both. Yes, sir. She started. It happened simultaneously, sir. Like when she started chemotherapy initially, there was gradual decrease in her menstrual cycle. Then it completely stopped in 2016 May, sir. That's why I particularly asked her whether it was. Have you asked about these things regarding to treating oncology? They said it could be related to any drugs, but they did not think about thyroid.
So I was trying to only tell you that in your history, you should be able to
Okay, sir.
tell when the hypothyroidism
Hypothyroid.
started. So ask.
Okay.
So can we
Okay.
now relook at your diagnosis after the discussion?
So AKE on CKD, AKE akin to non-alburic AKE, multifactorial AKE, AKE secondary to severe hypothyroidism, complicated UTA, secondary FSGS, status CKD, status post left radical nephrectomy, status post tumor biopsy, no icterus, and she had wrinkling on the skin but no lymphadenopathy. Her BP is 130.
So there was no Brady.
No bradycardia, but no.
And no hypertension when
No,
you check.
one right arm.
Okay. So did you comment on the thyroid area?
Yes, sir.
Any thyromegaly?
Yes, sir. There was a small palpable swelling present over the neck. But not significant.
So anything in your examination which has contributed to the diagnosis and you want to modify the diagnosis?
At present, only no, sir. No, could not modify. Actually, I was checking for any skin rashes or any features of autoimmune thing, but I could not get.
Okay. So what investigations do you want to do on her?
Presently, her complete blood picture, sir, to see if there is because I found pallor on eyes and hands. Whether what is her hemoglobin, and she had a she told that she was suffering from urine infection counts, and as she was being planned for biopsy, platelet counts.
1 minute, Mahesh. So you want CUE? Can you ask Girish to tell us the CUE report? Is Girish around?
Mahesh, there is actually no one called Dr.
Fine, fine. So her urine showed active segment. Both there were RBCs and also WBCs, and You had sent a culture, and I think you are aware, culture
Yes.
grew something and she got antibiotics. Okay. So
Okay.
in your diagnosis, urosepsis will hold good. You wanted a CBP. I do not recollect the reports of the CBP, but she had a anemia with she had thrombocytosis with
Okay.
big platelets.
Okay.
Anything?
Nutrition it could be B12 consider yourself because she was not having good appetite. B12 deficiency will be one possibility
Can
in anemia.
hypothyroidism
And one more
alone present with anemia?
yes, sir. Hypothyroidism
Okay.
also causes bone marrow suppression, and it significantly affects all the parameters of erythropoiesis.
So hypothyroidism can present with anemia, and for you and me, what is relevant is a CKD patient. If there is a hypothyroidism, like in this patient, I believe it was missed. You cannot correct the anemia because one of the
Why?
causes for resistant erythropoietin is hypothyroidism.
Hypothyroid. Okay.
Brings us to why we should check for. I think this lady was never seen by a nephrologist, even when she went for a nephrectomy. That is the reason all these things were missed in her, including a hypothyroid.
Okay. Okay.
So, what is important for us is anemia secondary to hypothyroidism, and also in CKD, hypothyroidism contributing to erythropoietin resistance.
Okay, sir.
So, if
And
somebody is not responding as you expect, hypothyroidism.
and we see for any anti-thyroid thyroid peroxidase antibodies because we are considering autoimmune element.
Okay. So in this patient, we did send for anti-T2 antibodies. They were positive.
Okay, sir. But
So what do you want to do?
no, if it is positive, then we should treat this hypothyroidism. Even though if suppose if the patient has anti-TPO antibodies positive, if they are in subclinical hypothyroid state, we should treat them, sir. Not all subclinical hypothyroid patients should be treated. One of the criteria for treating for this is presence of anti-TPO antibodies, and in future also because she is associated with one autoimmune element, she would be at risk of developing all autoimmune disorders. Like she might develop diabetes, she might develop autoimmune skin lesions or autoimmune renal diseases. Everything might be now a possibility. And these elevated TPO antibodies may also deposit in the kidney and present as immune deposits and immune mediated disorders.
Okay. So the fourth differential diagnosis I asked you to entertain was a autoimmune element, even historically, both affecting the thyroid and the kidney.
Yes, sir.
So all the more reason I would want to do a biopsy to know whether there is any underlying some other lesion in the kidney. And we don't talk of subclinical here. Her case is 753. So it's a gross hypothyroid anti-TPO.
Then they will get deposited in the kidney, and we can pick them up in immunohistochemistry. Sir. Is that a possibility of?
You should be looking for other primary autoimmune diseases here, including asking for a ANA and ANA profile.
Okay.
So that is what I would ask once I know that anti-TPO antibodies are positive. I would have, and we have asked them to do it when we get the report. Okay. Next.
Electrolytes, because in sodium, potassium.
Surprisingly, our sodium was not too low. It was okay. So within normal limits, sodium, potassium. So what you can get a hyponatremia. What happens to potassium in hypothyroid states?
Elevated potassium, hyperkalemia and hyponatremia. And I would also check her in significant hypothyroid state or heart examination. So ECG, echo, how her LV function is doing.
You finished urine, you didn't ask for urinary protein quantification there. When you jump to CBP,
sir, no, sir. CBP, I mean urine examination, you said active sediment is there.
Active sediment. I was hoping you ask for protein quantification.
Because as she did not. Okay, sir. Okay. because
There is no
history.
excuse. You cannot give any excuse.
Okay,
So,
sir.
what hypothyroidism can be associated with proteinuria?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It will be
Why?
associated with it. It's the same reasons associated glomerular diseases like significant hypothyroid when there is an autoimmune element or immune mediated disease, there is risk of development of MCD, membranous, IgA as well as MPGM. They are all presented with significant protein loss.
Only hypothyroidism, no glomerular disease. Proteinuria.
Ischemic damage to the kidney, podocyte damage also causes protein loss, but not significantly. Only hypothyroidism and protein loss.
And hypothyroidism both can present with proteinuria.
With protein, yes, sir.
Hyperthyroidism also can present, and it will resolve when you treat it. Hypothyroidism also can present with protein loss, which will resolve when you treat it. So mechanisms, please look at. Actually, if you look at the review on hypothyroidism and kidney link, there are 14 different changes that can happen inside the kidney secondary to hypothyroidism. And I think as nephrologists, we all should be aware of those details. So anyhow, this patient had protein loss, not much. And electrolytes, you have asked, what happens to calcium in hypothyroidism?
Depends upon the etiology of hypothyroidism, sir. Sometimes if there is a
any hypothyroidism, what happens to calcium? Just like sodium can go down, what happens to calcium? Just look at it. Okay? And please ask for all of them, because we are brought in
calcium,
an element
phosphorus.
of here, calcium, phosphorus, and
Sir,
if you
sir, okay, sir. We have to see the particular electrolyte and treat as per it regarding if it is calcium, because it depends upon the renal function predominantly. Sir. If the GFR goes down significantly, irrespective of the etiology, the calcium will be decreased and phosphorus will be elevated, sir. And it depends upon the malignancy which was there present to the patient, which will affect the calcium levels in thyroid independently.
So the malignancy was there, it is no longer there unless you are now thinking something else. So as a part of CKD workup, please ask for everything, including
calcium, and phosphorus.
So what shall we do first? When you wanted cardiac workup, ECG was one,
ECG, 2D echo,
and ultrasound.
Ultrasound
shows
and good size kidney. So, sir, in this patient, if there are no contraindications for biopsy in this patient, I would like to do a biopsy and see what is happening inside the kidney, sir. Because our AK is still unexplained because many differentials are there, and we may get a clue after biopsy in this patient.
Okay, so partly agree with you. First and foremost, you treat the infection.
Yes,
Treat the hypothyroid state.
Hypothyroid state.
A biopsy, especially in the light of the anti-T2 antibodies, I would look at serology of ANA, ANCA, all the others also.
Okay.
But if the renal function is not improving, in spite of treatment of the infection and it's a single kidney, keep in mind.
Yes. High risk biopsy.
Serum creatinine is not improving. I would say, so I wanted to do CPK in this lady. Can you explain that? Think of any reason for it?
Rhabdomyolysis is one possibility, sir. And insignificant hypothyroid state.
One of the reasons for
hypothyroid, yes, sir.
One of the reasons for AKI in
malignancy. So in any malignancy and AKI, yes, okay, sir.
Any hypothyroidism, one of the DD for AKI,
rhabdomyolysis.
Okay. All of them are negative, then I would do a biopsy. And depending on what I see on the biopsy, you would want to.
Okay.
So anybody else, something that we in this patient?
Aniket?
So drug induced, you should know a list of drugs can cause both renal failure and hypothyroidism. Can anybody tell me a list of drugs? At least drugs you should know.
Iodine
So
131.
common, at least you should.
Iodine 131.
Why should iodine cause
the drugs which are being used as a part of treatment? That's
what drugs can present both with hypothyroidism and somebody answered amiodarone.
Yes, sir.
Ravi Singh. So amiodarone is one. Any other drug you can think of commonly?
Immune checkpoint inhibitors.
What is that? What is that?
So
Immune checkpoint.
lithium
Immune checkpoint.
Yeah.
inhibitors.
So in our settings, at least lithium you should know. You should know amiodarone. There are quite a few. Even rifampicin can present with both thyroiditis and renal failure, like acute tubular interstitial nephritis. There are reports of rifampicin associated thyroiditis. It is something like interstitial nephritis inside thyroid, and interstitial nephritis of the kidney. I think at least 4 drugs no. The others are little not common, so you need not
Sir,
think of that. But
that's what your question.
no, we asked drugs which can cause both hypothyroidism and renal failure simultaneously.
Okay, sir.
So I believe there is some history missing in this lady, including details. But by and large, this much has happened. You know mechanisms of AKI, mechanisms of CKD.
Sir, but usually what we see, I mean, is it defined based on the therapy?
The patient for nephrectomy, because let us assume, and it's not a rare thing, sometimes the patient has a differential GFR more on the RCC side and less on the other side. The minute you do nephrectomy, people will land up with 3 or 4 creatinines. It has happened to me. I have seen people just after nephrectomy, 1.1 creatinine before surgery, 4 creatinine post. Maybe there's an element of acute, but patients have gone on to dialysis also, and we don't know whether to say that this is going to recover or not. So it's always good to document by a isotope scan what is the differential GFR and say this is the risk of AKI post-operatively. Why was the biopsy done for the tumor? I fully agree. I wouldn't want tumor to be biopsied as a nephrologist because I may be causing some amount of spread of the tumor.
Sir, now that the tumor spread quick by doing biopsy is not a concern, and by if the tumor size is less than 3 centimeters, malignant, I have a we mentioned, but
many things that
completely.
you do by MR or CT.
Yes, sir.
Looking for understanding is, unless proved otherwise, all SOLs in the kidney are malignant. If it is the other common SOL that you can see in our practice would be a angiomyolipoma, whereas you don't need a biopsy to diagnose angiomyolipoma.
Yes, sir. Oncocytoma and angiomyolipomas are even not differentiated by T2 weight. That is based upon the previous data says that because of the long biopsy reports, we have come up to this diagnosis. If we see based on any MRI report, but renal cell carcinoma cell typing cannot be like, we cannot.
So somebody has asked about frozen section. That's a possibility. You can do a frozen section and then
Yes, sir.
But if the tumor, as per your imaging, was limited to a pole, even though differential GFR you already know, I would not do a nephrectomy full. I would do only partial
nephrectomy. Okay, sir.
Anything else?
There is a question on the TSH level cutoff during CKD, like
20. Most authors agree with 20. I have seen many of us treating 10, 15. So it is wrong. In fact, you can make the CKD whatever compensation. It is called actually a physiological, I don't remember the exact term, physiological hypothyroidism in CKD, which you are not supposed to tamper with. And there are quite a few explanations. If you look at the data, it's something called Wolff-Chaikoff mechanisms and all that. Please read up. It's very well described. Yeah. So 20, I would not treat it. Permissive physiological hypothyroidism.
more questions from the group. You can either write it in the chat or unmute yourself and speak. Actually, the thyroid disease and kidney is like a very, very new topic for us. Actually, the whole discussion today, actually, it's not very common to have such a disease. Thanks so much for actually giving us so much insight into it. We never took that.
Man, because thyroid and kidney interlink is known for ages, and for us, it was any patient in whom you get in fact, my exam case in CMC Vellore was goiter with nephrotic state.
Oh.
So if you get anything, any inkling, and the examiner has that this patient has any thyroid problem, they will go into. Please read up. There are huge review articles on thyroid and kidney, both ways, and they summarize what all happens in CKD, what all happens in thyroid disease in kidney. So 3-way, you should know hyperthyroidism and kidney, you should know hypothyroidism and kidney, and you should know in CKD changes in the thyroid. And these are almost always there. You will not have a person without a thyroid change in CKD. And then the other thing that we did not have time probably to discuss is nephrotic and hypothyroidism. So commonly, what is lost in the urine? Thyroid binding. Thyroid proteins are lost. You can get there also some amount of hypothyroidism. But it's a very common topic, and even small inkling that there is a associated examiner will take you off in that. I've done excellent studies on GFR in hyperthyroidism and GFR in hypothyroidism. And the points that I mentioned to you, they may ask you, how do you differentiate predominantly secondary to hypothyroidism? And people have, though there is renal failure, pregnancy doesn't increase hypothyroid induced.
Yes.
Renal failure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
NGAL doesn't increase, though there is a AKI. So it's a quite
We can
interesting
understand
topic.
regarding MGAL, sir, but still, I searched regarding why cystatin C increases, that I could not get
So
actually.
you look at how normally cystatin C is produced.
It is produced
From the muscle,
yes,
whereas cystatin C is a
cellular new.
so in this it does not rise as
Thank
part
you.
of renal cell.